Good evening. I'm Joe Netherworld, and I'm here with your daily tarot card reading for Monday, April 21st, 2014. And I'm going to try and get back on top of things. I'm being here more often. I've had a few setbacks with April's a crazy month here in the Northeast, like I said, and I won't repeat myself. But a lot of spring setup, and spring is the time of the year, and we can take this as part of our reading, where you got to do things that are going to set up the next 6 months. It's you got a week or two really to clear things out, get things done. Because you wait too long, and it's proven in my garden, you wait too long, you can't work the soil, you can't rake the garden, you can't do anything now because the buds are up, things are coming up, and now you're in process. It's a good reminder to look to nature and see how you have missed opportunities. And sometimes you have to roll with that and go, well, I really wanted to change these beds or turn the soil or rake this area, but I waited too long and now everything's budded and I have to wait longer or go in there by hand. And that's what I do in my property sometimes, and remove things bit by bit by bit. And that is a lesson we learn, that just because we want things when we want them, there's a greater clock. There's a greater clock running, and that is the universal clock, the planetary clock, the one that we live in we live in a world where the customer's always right, and we want what we want when we want it, and open 24 hours and all these things, to make our lives easier. It doesn't make our lives easier. It just makes us have more choice, and sometimes too many choices mean no choices at all. So that's my intro to today's read. Let's see what our main card for the day is and see where we're standing. Keep in mind, though, sometimes you have too many choices. What do? You don't choose anything. You end up sitting. You're supposed to pick what you want for dinner. We should have Italian. We can have Chinese. We can have this. We can have that. You end up just having what's in the fridge because you just didn't get it. Too many choices. So that simplifies a rather complicated scenario, but keep that in mind. But today's main card is it's a great card. It's Two of Pentacles. It's the juggler. It's about juggling finance. It's juggling either two jobs to keep things going, but usually it's about juggling incoming and outgoing, and about keeping control over that. Wearing the hat. There's a guy is wearing almost a kind of like a very Vivian Westwood kind of funny looking hat, and I make these references sometimes. I don't think anyone gets them but me, but it's all right. I think Farrell was wearing a Vivian Westwood hat to modernize this for you all. But anyway, it's a big hat, bigger than the person. It's a little oversized. That means sometimes we have to wear a big hat. We have to appear bigger than we are. We have to take on more than we can handle sometimes to keep things in balance. Now, this card is a springtime card by the colors, but also the clear sky. It's about keeping your eye on the prize and keeping balance. It's very important right now that what comes in goes out, what comes in goes out, and you keep the balance going to get progress. But a little bit in here, we'll see what the other cards bring. But there's always is a situation. The trade-off with this card is, how do you get forward? If you're stuck in balance and you're stuck in perfect, what goes in, what goes out, like a Mobius strip, this infinity loop, how do you get forward? And that's what we're going to see. What what's the missing quotient that will let us go forward? Let's see the next card up. This card here, Hangman. Hangman and the Two of Pentacles represents being stuck in balance, and that's an interesting card right there. Hangman also is not just hung and stuck for being hung up. He is hung to change his worldview and to see things differently. It's to literally tie yourself up and throw yourself upside down to see things from a whole different perspective. So there's two sides to that. The common version of that is to say, oh, hangman, stuck. No, there's a hangman as a prophet will look at the world and go, I need to turn myself upside down. I need to stop myself, turn myself upside down, and see things differently. And that's a good way to break this, this balance, this infinity loop of balance. Well, let's see what's our next card. This is what our next card is going to be. Ace of Pentacles. Ace of Pentacles is the supremacy of one, singularity. It's about making one thing bigger. One thing is more important. So what it's calling for us here is you got to change your perspective. One of these things you're balancing is more important than the other, and that's how you get movement. You have to have a little bit of a imbalance. Throw it off to make it move forward. If it's perfectly balanced, it can't move forward. So maybe you have to get more coming in so that you can have more going out. Pay more bills, make more things, make investments. Or it means the opposite of that. It means take more opportunities in and have less less expenses. Sometimes we got this situation where we're stuck in a loop. We're doing okay. We're paying our bills. We're making our money. Life goes on. There's something in the back of your head chimes in and goes, wait a minute. I need to move forward. I need to get something. I can't stay like this. I'm getting older. The situation is not going to last forever. You can see the writing on the wall sometimes. And it's best to see the writing when it's just a scribble before it's written in blood. So enough distractions right there. But I think what this is about today is, after we've come through, in yesterday's reading had a lot to do with, adding things and making things more positive and getting rid of these sharp items around you. I think what we're calling for today is change your attitude. But and make a primary source to be, all right, this money, this goal, this singular part of this thing has to be bigger. So instead of jungling, a ping pong ball and a ping pong ball, it's asking you to juggle a ping pong ball and maybe a grapefruit, or maybe a tennis ball, something a little bit bigger, out of balance. You can still handle it. It's still juggling. You still keep it moving, but one side is going to be a little lopsided for now in order to make things move forward. So you have to focus on either making more money or spending less money. Something that makes the system begin to move. Because when things are out of balance is when they move forward, because they can, there's a different, the engine gets leverage. It's a little bit harder to move up the hill, but then once you're up there, it's easier to come back down. So not to be too esoteric, but I really feel that today is about really looking at where you're at, making a decision about how you can add something to the situation. And it's about money. This is all about money today. This is really to do very little with personal life. Today's not about romance. It's not about even psychic phenomena or the greater spiritual world. It's kind of about breaking the stalemate, breaking the cycle. And I think it's all within you to add, and it's very simple. It's either, you got two sides of this coin. It's either you have to spend less or make more. Which part of it do you want to make have the greater force right now? Simple. Just look around at your life and see what your opportunities are and pick what is most obvious. This is a very obvious read today. So pick what's most obvious. And even if it seems a little bit small things generate bigger things. And this is a machine we're creating here to move forward. So you can even start with a little bit. Even if it's 10%, 10% more, 10% less, reducing expenses. Just a little bit will start the ball rolling. And that is going to take us all the way through spring into summertime, and we're going to really reap the rewards of this at the end of the summer. So we're laying out some long-term plans with this. So I think this is a great day to do a casual overview of your finances. We're coming out of tax season. We are either dreading it or looking forward to some returns. And yet again, both those things are what I'm talking about. Either find a way to have more deductions on next year's taxes, or get more money back. So keep that in mind. I enjoyed this Monday after Easter and this whole new section of the calendar. For me, I'm very excited. We're moving more towards Halloween. And by April 30th, Walpurga will be past the halfway mark to Halloween, and that's a great time for me. It's the beginning of the power of magic is beginning to really enter into the realm here, as well as the power of the dark side. We're heading towards midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil, so keep that in mind. I'll be here again tomorrow, sometime around midnight. Any questions you have for me beyond what we've talked about tonight, feel free to call me on my Keen line. It's my telephone psychic line. You can get me directly. Or you can question me, in here in the comment section. I'll be trying to answer the questions as best I can. All right, until then, I'm going to push my little magic button on my camera, and we'll see each other tomorrow, sometime around midnight.